Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I have unbelievable stories to share with you that are incredibly disturbing. Starting with a story coming out of Rigby, Idaho, where a 6th grade student, a 6th grader, opened fire in her school and struck 2 students and a custodian on May 6th of 2021. According to news reports and student accounts, a 6th grade student at Rigby Middle School pulled a handgun out of her backpack shortly after 9 a.m. in the hallway of the school and began shooting. Police say 2 students were shot in their extremities and a custodian was also hit. A heroic teacher who heard the gunshots disarmed the student and held her down until police arrived. If she hadn't, many more students could have been injured. All 3 victims of the shooting were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, thank God, and they are all expected to recover from their injuries. 1 student is expected to need surgery. Police say they have the 6th grade shooter in custody and have searched her home and are trying to find out how she acquired the gun and what her motive was for the shooting. Thank God for the heroic teacher who stopped the shooting and may have saved many lives. She was meant to be there that day, right where she was. I believe that. What I don't believe is that after all the school shootings that happened, that our schools still haven't made it safe enough for us to send our kids there. A student getting a weapon of any kind into a school at this point is just inexcusable. Period. And this is not the first school shooting carried out by an extremely young shooter. For those of you that remember the horrific shooting that was committed in Jonesboro, Arkansas in 1998, you know what I'm talking about. And I bet chills just shot down your spine. All school shootings are terrifying, but Jonesboro? Right up there with Columbine. The calculation, the planning involved, the actions of the students? Unreal. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Jonesboro shooting, 2 students, 11 and 13 years old, planned out a full-on ambush of the students and teachers in their school. They obtained guns from their grandfather's home, and one of the boys hid outside of the school with the guns, while the other pulled the fire alarm in the school. Then he ran outside and hid, and the 2 shooters shot at the students and teachers as they evacuated from the school. They killed 4 students and a teacher, and injured 10 other students. They were 11 and 13 years old, and they assassinated their fellow students as they exited the school. 11 and 13. And because they were so young back then in Arkansas, they could only be held in juvenile institutions until they were 21. Then they were released. They each served less than 10 years for the mass shooting, and when they were released, their records were sealed. Police have not yet announced what charges the 6th grade shooter from Idaho will be facing as a juvenile shooter, but say they will give updates as their investigation goes on. And if that story wasn't shocking enough for you, I just happen to have another that ought to do the trick. Police in Chicago, Illinois, say a pastor and his wife were brutally attacked on May 1st of 2021. According to ChristianPost.com, yes, I read it. I read everything. I'm a plethora of useless information. Anyway, Pastor Timothy Johnson was sweeping the alley behind his mother-in-law's home when he was approached by a man who tried to sell him something. Johnson said he politely declined the offer, and then the man brutally attacked him. A judge hearing the case said the account sounded like he was listening to a horror movie. The pastor said his attacker put him in a chokehold and hit him in the head with a shovel. Then he started punching him in the face and gouged his eyes with his fingers. Then he bit the pastor's ears and head and shoved a piece of wood into the pastor's eye. When the pastor's wife realized he was being attacked, she ran to help him, but the attacker grabbed her, pulled her hair, and gouged her eyes with his fingers as well. Then he bit large chunks out of her ears and threw her to the ground and kicked her. The pastor was able to call 911, and when police arrived, they found the attacker covered in blood, and he told them it was the blood of peasants. He was ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation and is being held on a $5 million bond. The pastor and his wife were rushed to the hospital in serious condition, and even though the parts of their ears that were bitten off were recovered, they were unable to be reattached. The couple's daughter wrote a post on Facebook that read, "This is not a dream. This is not a movie. This is not an episode of a crime show. This is our life. I don't have the words to say. Sometimes I don't have the strength, but the strength of my parents keep me going. We do need your prayers. We need your love." I'm certainly sending them love and good healing vibes, and I hope you will too. We need to send them to all the victims in these horrific stories. I wish them quick healing, but I know that the mental and emotional impacts on their lives will stay with them. Those things will unfortunately never go away. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you on my next video.